I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the City of Southfield Planning Commission study meeting for September 1st, 2021, conducted via teleconference. We have a roll call, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Culpepper.
Here.
Mr. Huntington. He appears to have dropped off. Mr. Martin.
Present.
Ms. Mee is excused. Dr. Stevens Gunn.
Here.
Mr. Willis.
Here.
Mr. Griffiths.
Here.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, you do have a quorum to conduct business this evening.
Okay, and can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
If I may, through the chair to the commission, under item 1, the American Recovery Funds, the planning department will also be conducting their presentation to you this evening as well. The agenda notes the city treasurer and the business and economic development director. However, planning department is also being added to the presentation list this evening. So that would be the only amendment to the agenda.
Also, the economic development director asked to go first due to prior commitment. If we could make that amendment as well.
To the chair.
Yeah, Commissioner
Martin. I'd like to make a motion. We accept the agenda as amended.
This is Commissioner Willis support.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the amended agenda by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Willis. Roll call vote on that, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Culpepper.
Yes.
Mr. Huntington.
Support.
Mr. Martin.
Support.
Dr. Stevens Gunn.
Support.
Mr. Willis.
Support.
And Mr. Griffiths.
Support.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, you have an approval of your agenda this evening.
Okay. Start with the first item here.
Yeah, so just as a little bit of background, so this first item has to do with the American Recovery Funds discussion. And basically, as you can see on the screen, kind of gives a little bit of a description of it. These are funds to provide eligible governments with substantial infusion of resources to meet pandemic response needs to build a stronger, more equitable economy as the country recovers from COVID and coronavirus. Within the categories of eligible uses, the recipients have broad flexibility to decide how best to use this funding to meet the needs of their communities. Within the information that was provided to you, Planning Commission, there are various eligible categories for these uses. Those include support for public health expenditures, such as medical expenses, to address negative economic impacts caused by the public health emergency. So these are economic harms to workers, households, small business, impacted industries in the public sector. Also a category to replace lost public sector revenue, and that is pretty self-explanatory. Also to provide premium pay for essential workers. So this is to provide additional support for those who have borne and continue to bear the greatest health risks. And then the final category to invest in water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure. And that is relatively self-explanatory in itself. So the presentations this evening will be done by the Business and Economic Development Department Manager, Shelly Freeman. Then the City Treasurer will do his presentation along with members of his team. And then finally, Planning Department will do their presentation. The City Planner Crode will do that. The balance of the departments will come back to the Planning Commission next Wednesday, so we can then complete the presentations next week. So again, for this evening, we have 3 departments that will be presenting, and starting this evening with our Business and Economic Development Director, Shelly Freeman. So Shelly, whenever you're ready.
Great, thank you. Mr. Chair, Honorable Board, I appreciate the opportunity to share my presentation for the Southfield Entrepreneur Evolution Lab. Small business is the backbone of the Southfield economy. Sadly, COVID pandemic has adversely affected many within our business community. We want to reinvigorate the entrepreneurial spirit. The Southfield Business Development Team is teaming up with proven area experts to reverse course. Southfield has many components in place that enable underserved entrepreneurs to emerge. As you can see on the slide, we recently have been ranked as one of the top cities for U.S. Black women to flourish financially by Money Geek. We also continue to be a top 50 best cities for small businesses by Verizon. We're ready to move to the next level and build on our success. The creation of the Entrepreneur Evolution Lab will position the city of Southfield as innovators and entrepreneurs. According to Babson College, 55% of Americans believe they can start their own business. In Southeast Michigan, the number is even higher at 57%. There's a lower number of entrepreneurs who are afraid of failing, 21%, as opposed to the national average of 33%. So we have a can-do spirit here in our area. Due to COVID pandemic, businesses face many challenges, from access to capital, digital resources, and tech and knowledge, and employee recruitment and retention. There's a demand for these resources, and the Entrepreneur Evolution will be the connector. I do want to mention that I've been working with Dan Ramdowski, who runs the Centropolis Accelerator. Can you go back a few slides, please?
Sure.
And Camille Walker Banks, who was formerly the executive director for 10,000 the Goldman Sachs 10,000 jobs, and now she runs another nonprofit. We're missing the human connection in Southfield. We need to create a sense of place for our small business community. Oakland County is moving away from their longtime one-stop shop, and so Southfield must fill the void. We see education and human connection as critical components to aid in the growth of small business. As we work together, we can ensure that Southfield businesses are able to tap into these vital resources. We're looking to create sustained collaborative efforts that will result in more participation and economic prosperity for all. Next slide. The Southfield Evolution Lab will be part of the Business Development Department, and we're going to look to harness the passion and energy that's thriving in Southfield. We can evolve our small businesses. Evolution is the gradual development of something, especially from simple to more complex. Next slide. We're looking to establish a 2-year pilot program. Our mission is to encourage the evolution of the underserved Southfield entrepreneurs into a robust community through education and encouragement. Our target businesses are those cottage industries, many that are located in their homes. These would be the underserved entrepreneurs of Southfield, women and minority populations. We'll have a special emphasis on them. As well, we'll be open to non-Southfield businesses, but they will not have the same complete free rent at the accelerator if it's needed. The businesses must be in business for at least 1 year, have 1 to 4 employees, and annual sales of 10,000 to 100,000. And again, we will be using the space at the Centropolis Accelerator, which is located at Lawrence Technological University. Next slide. Southfield has over 11,000 businesses, according to the U.S. Census in 2012. Again, we think that that's more at this point. We're looking to tap into a pre-Goldman Sachs 10,000 small businesses curriculum that was developed by Babson College, and Tory Burch has recently used it for their entrepreneurial curriculum. And I ran into the former director for the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, who works in Miami, and he was also able to tap into this program. And they just recently coincidentally started the similar type of program. So we're hopeful that we can get this program for free, but we've built in a little cushion in our budget. We'll be offering this curriculum, one-on-one coaching, and then we'd like to have funding to support the entrepreneurs in terms of grants or forgivable loans. And again, we'll be utilizing some of the staff and coaching and the space at the Southfield Centropolis Accelerator at Lawrence Technological University. And we're requesting over the 2 years, a total of $750,000. Next slide. We have set up some metrics for this program. We would track increase in revenues for just after 6 months of graduating the program. New jobs that would be created 6 months after graduating the program. If any of the businesses are working together, the completion rate of the program, and if they look to further their education, the acceptance into the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program. Next slide. And I've put together an outline of a budget. Again, we are not certain if we're going to have to purchase the curriculum, so we did allocate $50,000 for this. We believe that we could service 50 to 75 companies to participate in our curriculum the first year and the second year, and potentially have coaching services for about 100 clients. And then based on the available funds, we could, out of the $100,000, we could potentially service 20 clients at $5,000 each. By working with our Centropolis has also been able to secure other funding, which we would work with them to help support this program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff, will we be taking questions, or what is the?
Because this is a study session, if the planning commissioners do have any questions, I think now would be the opportunity in which to do that. Yeah.
And if I could, through the chair, just again to set the benchmark here, the city received $9.8 million, and we probably have received requests for 2 to 3 times that. So not everybody's going to be able to be funded, and not everybody's going to be able to get the amount they're requesting, but we are required to go through this public comment period. So I think it is appropriate for you to ask some questions at this point, so that as this thing goes through the process, by the time it gets to council, we have vetted it, and a steering committee will be established with the city administrator and the director of office management and budget to actually make the final recommendations based on the criteria. And with that, feel free to ask Ms. Freeman any questions about her proposal. Thank you.
This is Geraldine Stevens Gunn.
Yeah, go ahead.
To the chair.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, can you move to the slide of the matrices, the outcomes? Can you move to that slide for me, please? The one before that. Okay. This is an overview, I'm hoping. I would encourage you to put a little bit more detail in the matrix of what it is the outcomes will be, and tie that to proven outcomes that other people have done in the other programs that you talked about. That would help strengthen this, because right now, looking at it, I don't have enough information to support what it is you're doing. The second thing I'd like to suggest is you talked about whether or not you're going to be able to secure the curriculum. Well, moving forward, I would suggest that if you're not going to use that curriculum, that you identify a curriculum. If you're going to create a curriculum, do you need to include that as part of the matrices? All of that. Can you move to the next slide, please? Okay, I'm looking at your proposed budget. You talk about a contract manager, and then you talk about contract business coaches, but you have not detailed exactly what those people are. How many is it? 5 business coaches you need to be a little bit more specific about that, and as well as what their duties and responsibilities will be, because as it stands right now, I know it's a high level overview, but it's not detailed enough for me to say I support. Conceptually, it sounds like a great idea, but we're not seeing enough information to be able to, I don't know what it is I'm supporting other than a good idea. And in your marketing, break that down a little bit. 10 grand to market what? I mean, you're doing, I don't know. So I'm just encouraging you to, and you got 20,000 in year 2. Well, that's twice as much as in year 1. Why is it different than year 1? So just take a look at those kinds of things and think about it from a reviewer standpoint, because when you present these things to anyone or the general public, those are the kinds of things that are just off the top of my head as I look at that. So these are things that I'd encourage you to take a look at and to just break it down a little bit more, provide just a little bit more information so that people have a better understanding of what it is you're doing, why you want to do it, and how you're going to do it. Thank you so very much for listening.
Thank you.
You. Again, we were notified very quickly about the turnaround time of all of this, and we do have a much more detailed outline. And I'm not sure if the planning department was giving out a booklet, but I did have some more detail in that description that was provided. We do have a meeting with the Goldman Sachs team next week, or that in 2 weeks. So, it was just all about timing, quite frankly, but I appreciate your comments. Thank you.
And if I could, just to support what Ms. Freeman has stated, this came upon us very quickly. This is a work in progress, and she probably presented the most complete package of all the departments. So I think she's done a great job to date, and this is part of why we're going through this process, so they can get feedback, and we can help refine and fine tune this before final decisions are made. So the questions are good. Just be patient with the applicants. This is all new to us. We weren't given a template or a format of how to do this. And this is why we need the assistance of the Planning Commission and the public. Thank you.
To the chair, this is Commissioner Culpepper.
Yeah, go ahead, Commissioner Culpepper.
Shelly, thanks for putting together this straw man. I understand it's time constraint. Couple of questions I have is that since you're going to have, it's great that you're doing this for small businesses. How will the money be distributed? Will it be first come, first serve, or because there are a lot, as you stated, there are numerous small businesses out here that require this financing. So
the program is geared for people. They will have to submit, from what we're planning on right now, is people will have to submit either a simple application and be enrolled in the program. And then the curriculum we're going to ask that they go through this curriculum in order to tap into any of the grants that will be offered. And they will be assigned a coach that will go over a whole array of topics. And so to make sure that if we're giving them any financial assistance, that they'll be coached along the way. And then our goal is also to help add more businesses to the Goldman Sachs 10,000 small businesses program, which has been in existence for several years now and has been very successful. But this group that we're targeting, doesn't fit into that established program. And so it's more of a feeder to get people into that other program.
Great, good idea, great. And I like the idea of, you giving grants and forgivable loans because they're struggling. I like that. Again, piggybacking on, Commissioner, Gunn's, I like that you do have metrics set, and as you know, in anything you do, you need metrics. You have metrics set, and going forward, I know you'll put a little more meat on that bone to make it more realistic. I think, for the first go around, great job. Glad that you're doing something for the small businesses, especially the women and Black-owned businesses. So again, thank you, and great first run at this. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Commissioner Martin.
Yes, go
My
ahead, Commissioner
question
Martin.
is, can you provide additional, well, not necessarily to us now, but can you provide additional information on the Boston educational curriculum and what that entails? Does it require a degree program for the participants, or is this, they need more information on what that is?
No, it is like, it's a certification type program. So, I'm not really sure how long the program will be. If it's 8 weeks, if it's 10 weeks, or something, So, we are working to get that information. Again, it's not going to require someone to have a graduate degree or anything. So it's just a nice coursework that goes over all the fine points of how to, structure your business for success. And so, once we get a better handle on that, I'll definitely be able to update the planning commission on more details.
I understand. I wasn't asking for it to be provided now, but to have that type of information available so that someone that's going to look into the program and the process has more details on what information they need or what the information they're going to get, and what training or learning their experience they're going to receive from it. That was all. I wasn't asking for it now, but thank you very much.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Yeah, through the chair, Commissioner Freeman.
Yes, go ahead, Steve.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank the city of Southfield for really getting on top of this and being proactive. I had a question about the business coaches. Where are these coaches coming from? The business coaches. Are these teachers or just business people, local business people, or where are the business coaches really coming from? Uh-oh. Hello?
Hello? We may have lost Shelly.
Uh-oh.
Well, Mr. Huntington, if for whatever reason Shelly is not able to rejoin, it's definitely a question that we can ask her and follow up with the Planning Commission with regard to it.
Okay, thank you.
Any further comments from the commission? I think it's an interesting idea as well. Looking forward to seeing more. What was it? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, being the first one into the fray is difficult, but here again, we're looking at the information provided, and what I think she did a good job, and it's just the details that we don't have or that they have that isn't provided to us at current that needs to be available to make it even better. I think it's a good idea, but thank you very much.
This is Geraldine Stevens-Gunn.
Yes, go ahead.
First of all, I apologize if I came across too harsh, but I was just going on the information that we had based upon based upon the summary that Terry gave us. So if that's not what we're doing, just there was no information communicated about how we were going to handle this, and this is my first time doing that. So I'm looking at it very critically. And if that's not what we're supposed to do, please, share information with us prior to us getting this about how we're supposed to handle it. That would help me out tremendously. Thank you.
So if I could, again, this is new to everybody. We have a couple of these departments on tonight to accommodate them because of the Jewish holidays next week. Late this afternoon, a document should have been submitted to you in preparation for next week that has more detailed information. No one was expecting you to be able to read through all that today. And again, this is kind of a trial by fire, and no one took your questions in the wrong way. It's just, as I said, we just need to be patient with each other. This is part of the process. We do want these questions to be asked. The applicant should be able to provide additional information as we go through this process. And again, tonight is the very first time we're doing this. So there's no wrong questions and there's no wrong answers at this point. We'll plow through this, and then next week you'll be better prepared for the other departments, and you'll have time to read through the documents that have been provided. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think we've covered this one. What is the next item? On the revised agenda?
Yeah, if I may, sir, it's the city treasurer. And so the treasurer, Lowenberg, is online along with members of his team.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Can I begin?
Yes, please proceed.
Okay, excellent. So thank you very much for allowing me to present tonight. Along with myself, we have my deputy, Allison Bettis, as well as also our treasurer coordinator, Amber Dawkins, to be able to help present and to give you a brief summary. We don't have glamorous PowerPoints for our presentation, but it's practical, and what we're looking out for are the hardworking employees for the city of Southfield that have, throughout the entire COVID time period before and to this day, have been working around the clock, doing everything we can to keep the city running smoothly and functioning as if, no pandemic is going to take us down. So our focus is really on the treasurer's department and the employees in there. So the first thing that we wanted to present was a concept that was our treasurer coordinator actually made the effort to put together a proposal in terms of awarding, recognizing the efforts that our hardworking staff has done throughout the entire COVID period. I will turn over to her to allow her to speak a little bit more about her idea. Amber, are you there?
I'm not hearing her. Maybe she's on. Looks like she's talking, but on mute.
Yeah, Amber or Allison, you're going to have to unmute yourself. You're muted. There you go.
I'm happy to present if necessary, but I just wanted to recognize their efforts, especially Amber, for coming up with the concept and for the idea. So I'll give them another minute. If not, I'll be happy to fill in for them, or I can actually work on the second part of it, which. Give me 1 second. Allison or Amber, are you on? They were on early, right at 6 o'clock for the preliminary time period. But okay, so let me focus on our on our Treasury Department. We have 8 employees in our department that throughout the entire time period, we didn't have the flexibility or the convenience of being able to work from remotely from home for being able to collect the tax revenues and to be able to do anything, as far as the day-to-day activities of collecting the funds and also distributing out the accounts payables to send out those checks to all the vendors that we had, owed payments to. We had looked at the useful things that these funds can go for from the recovery funds. And one of the things was to give hazard pay for the employees. And the other departments that the police department received it, and the fire department, and also the Michigan Works representatives. And I believe that the compensation was $2,000 that was received. And so we're requesting that total amount of $16,000 would be the cost, cover the hazard pay to be in recognition for the staff members of the Treasury Department that had to work and give and jeopardize. And unfortunately, we had 3 cases of COVID in our department, so they had to endure that. One especially was a prolonged case of COVID, which required a long rehabilitation time period as well. But throughout that, we functioned and without missing a beat. And so we're just asking for the recognition of their efforts and to be able to give them the hazard pay that together with the equivalent of the frontline essential employees in other areas. That's the first part of it. Also, in addition to that, there were people there were COVID banks that were given, time banks for people that had to take time off. And especially we had members that had COVID that had to use additional time period in addition to the time that was allocated for them. And so we were asking to be able to help. That's what the additional funds would go towards as well. The other second part of the request is also for the health and safety of the workers in the department, as well as also the appearance and the morale. It's the carpeting in our department. As you can see from the slide, from the PowerPoint presentation over here, you'll see pictures of the condition of the current carpeting, and it unfortunately is in a very, very dire need of replacement. This request actually had been submitted for the capital improvement program and was already approved, but due to funding and other things, whatever it was, but this project has not been done yet, and so this is important for the health of the employees. The carpet absorbs germs and it absorbs toxins from the air, and so if we can have fresh carpeting, it would help to create a better, safer environment for the employees, as well as also we're a frontline department that meets with many other outside people, and when they come into our area, whether to come to our Treasury Department or whether to go to the accounting department, they have to pass through our area, the southwest portion of it, and that's the first impression that they see of us. It's not a very appealing situation. So we're requesting the carpeting to be replaced, and that is a cost of approximately $35,000 for our department. So if there are any additional questions, I'll be happy to answer that. Thank you very much for your time.
Are we reconnected?
Oh, can hear you. Yeah, Allison, looks like you're on.
You can hear me? Thank you. If our treasurer and our chair don't mind, we'll give some additional information to what the treasurer has provided you.
Sure, go right ahead.
Thank you.
My apologies for the technical errors we were having. My name is Amber Dawkins. I'm the treasurer coordinator in the department. We had to sign out and sign back in, so I'm not exactly sure everything that Mr. Lowenberg was able to cover. I just wanted to say that the work that we do in the Treasury Department is essential. We collect revenue that funds the city services as well as for the county and the school districts. We can't process these monies from home. Therefore, it's necessary for the Treasury staff to work in office to process the payments received, distribute accounts payable and paychecks, and do so in a safe manner. We've managed to do this for 2 tax seasons to date. The best way to do this safely is to do social distancing. So we didn't have the ability to work remotely like some of the other departments were able to do in the city. So we were in the office, and those days that we weren't in the office, we were required to use the health and safety hours that were so generously provided by the city. Unfortunately, we had to use them until they were exhausted. Our staff, we did a lot of we did the staggering of the shifts, and we recognize that, I'm sorry, this is my first time. We recognize we would like to have our sacrifice and efforts recognized with hazard pay that's commensurate with that has been provided with other departments in the city. 2 of our staff really did have a hard time with COVID, and we would like to see if it's possible to assist them in some way so that their sacrifices, weren't overlooked. And, I just want to say that sometimes it's hard to see us. We don't wear uniforms, but we'd like to think that you do see the results of our work and the hazards that we've endured. And I thank you so much for your time and your consideration.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anything else under this item from the presenters?
Welcome any questions, any other information we can provide.
Okay. Commission, any questions or comments?
To the chair, this is Commissioner Culpepper.
Go ahead.
Earth, thank you, and thank you to your 8 employees that diligently have been there working throughout this pandemic. We want to thank you for your service. And Ms. Bishop, the results are foreseen. We see the results because your department is responsible for the money, and we do see that. I'll take this in reverse. The carpeting is badly needed. As Earth said it, when you walk in someone's home, you look around, if they got a clean home, you think they're clean people. So that type of atmosphere or having that carpet like that is definitely needed. Herb, my question to you is, you are, I don't, but haven't broken down the actual monies. You are only asking hazard to pay for your employees. What about, you got some other employees out there that's been working under similar conditions, city employees, and also you got the union employees that have worked under similar conditions. So my question to you is, if you are doing this recovery fund for hazard pay, are you only asking for your 8 employees, or are you asking for other city employees that was working under similar conditions, including the union, to also receive hazard pay? Because we're going to get that question and pushback if you are only asking just for your department. Just a question for future references. Thank you.
With the chair, Commissioner Culpepper, I recognize your concerns and your question. I can't speak on behalf of the other employees in the other departments. We only are able to, we have to take care of our own department for the most part. The request was for our department. As far as the availability of funds and to be able to look at, there are many departments that have already received it. There are a few departments that have already received the compensation already, such as the police, the fire, as I mentioned, and the Michigan Works representatives. So I don't know how many other departments were in a similar situation where they were forced to not be able to work remotely, and whether they are interested in pursuing those additional funds or not. But this was something that when we were asked to put together something for our department, this was something we wanted to take care of our employees, that we know the work that they did and the situation they were in. And so it's important that it's a small ask on our behalf. It's not hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it's something which is a token of appreciation for them.
If I could, through the chair, Mr. Lowenberg, I mean, I'm sitting here representing the planning department and knowing planning, building and codes and engineering all manned our stations during COVID, and there may be other departments. And I think it's a slippery slope to provide only certain departments hazardous pay without looking at it comprehensively. That being said, not that you're not deserving, I just did a quick tally of all the requests. So far, it's over $20 million. So at some point, it's going to have to be some prioritization by the ultimate decision makers on how this money, the 9.8 million, is divvied up. And I'm sure that Mr. Culpepper's question regarding fairness to other departments and employees will come up as well. But as you said, you can only control your department's requests. But I think that in that particular case, we have to look at the big picture. And again, I don't know what the police and fire unions, as you know, a lot of the unions would probably want to weigh in on this issue as well. But we don't fault you for asking, and we don't fault you for defending your department's needs. It's just, I think it raises a bigger question. Thank you.
Commissioner Culpepper, any other questions?
No other question. Like I said, I appreciate it. Again, I know the fire department has to pay, and the police department. But again, as Terry alluded to, when it gets down to this hazard pay, there are going to be a lot of departments that's going to call in. I've already got some questions about it. But again, I compliment you, Herb, on taking care of your 8 people and asking for what you need, what you think is there. And great job. Just want to, as we try to be as transparent and consistent as possible, making sure that all departments are covered. And when we look at this and get the feedback from other departments saying, why weren't we or whatever, all we can say is great job on you, Herb, for taking care of your people. So I'm satisfied. Thanks, Herb. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much.
This is Commissioner Rob Willis.
Go ahead, Commissioner Willis.
Thank you. For Treasury Department, I am looking at the a document that was submitted. It looks like you're requesting $135,000 for carpet, and I believe you stated 35. I just want to know which one.
So the amount for our department for the carpeting is $35,000.
Okay.
The entire first floor, which would include the accounting department, the assessing department, and the budgetary department, if you calculate the entire floor, that would have been $100,000. That's the reason why we isolated out the section for the Treasury Department. Our request is for $35,000. But if it's done properly and the full scope of the job, that would be $100,000 to complete the entire floor.
Okay. Thank you.
To the chair, Commissioner Martin.
Go ahead, Commissioner Martin.
Has any of the capital expenditure funding included the carpeting, and has that been approved?
The capital improvement project expenditures, annual request that's submitted in. And I believe that the city planner compiles all the requests in the various departments and goes into a comprehensive plan. But this has been approved. I believe if the planner can interject over here, if possible. But unfortunately, it's something which we're still waiting. We're long overdue to have it done, please.
Yeah, I'll just say that the city administrator wanted to make sure that the departments refer to the capital improvement program for any of these projects wherever feasible. In many grants, the granting agencies don't like things just kind of thrown together at the last minute. So by having this in the capital improvement program, documents the need and that this was thought out in advance.
And
but not funded, correct, Terry?
Well, yeah, I mean, again, the CIP is a wish list. Only the first year is based on the current budget, and everything else is to alert the elected officials of the needs and the coming needs from the departments.
in your hazard pay, you mentioned that 8 employees in your area, but you also mentioned that you have the assessor's office, and 2 other areas, I believe. What are those where are those employees included? Are they involved in the hazard pay?
No, the hazard pay is strictly for the Treasury Department. The other departments, as we stated, had the ability to work from home, so the impact and the generosity that the city already provided affected them more positively than it could for our employees because we cannot work from home. The mention of the assessing and fiscal services departments is in regard to the carpeting.
Okay, thank you very much. I just wanted to make sure I had clear that the hazard pay was for those that did not have the ability to work from home or work remote. Thank you. I'm done, Chair. Mr. Griffin, are you muted? I can't hear you.
Jeff, I think we've lost the chair. You want to intervene?
Can you hear me now?
Gotcha. Gotcha, Chair.
Trying to charge my headphones, but it didn't work. I was trying to use the computer audio. Was there any other final comments from the commission? Don't believe so. All right. If there's nothing further from the planning department, we can move on to the next item.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, so this will be the planning department's presentation for our proposal. And Mr. Crode will handle that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Good evening. And our request is under support of public health expenditures by funding COVID-19 mitigation efforts, behavioral healthcare, and public health resources. As you know, many of the hardest hit individuals contracting COVID-19 were persons with underlying health issues, including but not limited to obesity, diabetes, heart disease, etc. Minority communities were even harder hit due to lack of adequate health care, poor diets, lack of access to medical care, and exercise. As you know, for the last multiple years, the master plan, the transit plan, the non-motorized plan have identified gaps in our sidewalk system, looking at promoting shared use pathways for walkers, bicyclists, and to enhance bus and respite stops to make them all more accessible and to connect the neighborhoods, especially some of our low mod neighborhoods, to employment centers, healthcare areas, and to promote 30 minutes of heart healthy activity. And there's nothing easier than to be able to walk out your door and get on a public sidewalk or pathway system and do your mile and a half to get your 30 minutes of heart healthy exercise. So the maps here provided identify large gaps in our system, which have been vetted through our master plan public input. And we've identified 3 or 4 areas based on engineering estimates to create 8 to 10 foot wide pathways where there are no pathways at all. It's a very simple, straightforward request. The more sidewalks and pathways that we can provide, the more connected pathways that we can provide, the greater the opportunity and access for our residents and businesses to get out and get their 30 minutes of heart healthy activity. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that the Planning Commission may have.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any questions?
This is Geraldine Stevens again. There's no budget attached to this. What are they asking for?
Well, the budget was attached in the spreadsheet that was provided as part of the comprehensive plan, but each segment of approximately half a mile is anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000. We've allocated $100,000 to $150,000 for bus stop improvements and some of the more extensive trail network, such as the River Rouge corridor and the Beauveric Woods, could be closer to $500,000 and up. But it's all based on linear footage, the width of the path, how complex the topography is, whether culverts have to be put in or not, and then any additional enhancements. So again, these are just very, you'll see a detailed breakdown based on the areas that are shown in red of what the initial cost estimates are for each of these segments. And we'll have this better detailed out prior to the public hearing.
To the chair, this is Commissioner Culpepper.
Go ahead.
To the planning, I like these 3 bullets because this details exactly that you're using this recovery funds to better assist the residents. Everything you have here is safety and the well-being of the residents, being able to walk safely, being able to use the bus system to get back and forth. So I like this, and I think this will be very well received by the residents because these funds are definitely needed to ensure the safety and the well-being and the livelihood of the residents. So this is a good starting point. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other commissioners?
Chair, this is Commissioner Martin.
Go ahead, Commissioner Martin.
For the bus and respite stop enhancements, are you looking at including, or does that include the bus services that are provided to seniors and to that are available for residents within the city? I know that some of the services that McDonald Tower had was they included care where they would pick up individuals from home and take them to McDonald Tower for services or classes or things like that. Does that include, is any of that included in the bus and risk stop enhancements?
Through the chair, in this particular case, this is for capital improvements only. As you recall, and we presented this last year, we did a comprehensive review of all 350 existing bus stops within the city that are either part of the SMART or DDOT routes. We looked at transit propensity. That's the likelihood of people using each of the stops to come up with a prioritization and a rating system. And there's 5 variables. We look at density of the area within a half a mile on a quarter mile on either side. We looked at persons with disabilities living in the immediate surrounding area of each bus stop. We looked at income. We looked at households with seniors and we looked at households with one car or less. Those 5 variables predict the usability of these bus and transit stops. We also worked with both SMART and DDOT to look at riderships, as well as where there are transfer points. Based on that formula, we came up with a set of priorities. The highest priority would receive a bus stop, a bus shelter, a sign, a bench, a trash receptacle, and a key walk. And the lowest priority would have at least a key walk, a sign, and a stop, so that someone's not having to stand in the mud. Since there's 350 stops, couldn't do everything at once. The council allocated $100,000 in the Metro funds from last fiscal year, and we're starting to address that. $100,000 only addresses between 12 and 15 stops, and just the simple key walk with a bench and trash receptacle. So the need is great. Just in bus stops, there's probably a couple $1 million worth of enhancements, and we're looking just to allocate about $150,000 from our ask to help us get another year's round of funding. So even though Mr. Martin, the need for the additional buses is worthy, we're just focusing on improving the infrastructure for pedestrians and bicyclists in order to use the transit system and to encourage more transit use.
Any additional questions, Commissioner Martin?
No, I'm done.
Okay. Any other comments? Nothing for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's in the conclusion of the presentations for tonight for the funding?
Yes, it is, Mr. Chairman. As I had noted, we have the other departments that will be coming before you at next week's study meeting. But that concludes at least this particular portion of the funds discussion this evening.
Okay.
I'm sorry, this is Commissioner Willis. Would you know what departments are going to appear before us next week?
Yes, Mr. Willis. So we'll have code enforcement, the fire department, human resources, the library, public works, both public works for streets and highways, and then stormwater management, and then technology services. Those will all be on next week.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
All right. Moving on to the second item on the agenda. That's PSLU 21-0007.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is a special use request of Enterprise Leasing Company of Detroit on behalf of the owner of the property, Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. This request is to allow an automobile and truck leasing and rental office on vacant property with Sidwell parcel 2429426-033. This property is located on the northwest corner of Telegraph Road in Garner in section 29 of the city. This is a close-up aerial of the property. It did at one time have a large industrial building on it that was demoed a number of years ago. So now it is currently a vacant piece of property. Zoning is I-1 industrial with a small bit of parking zone on the back in the northwest portion of the property. With regard to future land use, the property is within the technology corridor for Telegraph Road. While the Planning Commission will only be making a recommendation on the special land use, we did provide a site plan this evening for you to see. So the building closest to Telegraph Road would be the building in which the public would rent vehicles through. There's also an accessory building on the back of the property. You'll also notice that there's a considerable number of rain gardens for detention and stormwater management on the site. Not only the large detention pond along Telegraph Road, but also a rain garden along Garner Street, as well as along the west property line adjacent to the existing screen wall. Elevations for the property for the various buildings that are being proposed. This is the accessory building. And again, the first one was for the office building in itself. Again, with regard to this particular proposal, the special use request is for a rental vehicle office for rental of trucks and automobiles. And again, that's what you would be making a recommendation on at your meeting later this month. So again, planning staff will approve the site plan portion because this is I-1 industrial. Again, the planning commission would need to make a recommendation just on the special use portion this evening. We do have Mr. Ashby Donahue on the line along with his team. Ashby, if you can kind of fill in some gaps maybe I may have missed, now is your opportunity to do that.
Hey, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. You pretty much hit on all the points. One thing I would like to point out is we are already we have this use down the road on Telegraph. We have if anyone has been to that actual site, we've outgrown that use. So we're looking to develop a site. This is 3 acres. This is something that we think we can be there long term for significant investment. The piece of property has been sitting for quite some time, so it will help with the beautification of Southfield. Also with the change in the pandemic. We're adding the truck line as well because a lot of things are delivery now. We'll also create several jobs in the Southfield area with adding the truck line as well. So we think it's a good fit for Southfield, and we hope you guys do as well. And hopefully I can answer any questions that you may have.
If I could, through the chair, before you go to the commission, Ashby, question came up earlier regarding whether or not, are you going to keep your existing site just for administrative offices, or are?
We are. We have our corporate office for the state of Michigan is in Farmington Hills, actually. This building is the closest building that we have to our corporate office. Unlike a lot of other companies during the pandemic, we had to restructure and make some changes with how we do business lines where people are housed. So this location would be changed to an administrative offset of our corporate office, which is, we've had to change layouts and how everybody sits and stuff like that, like everybody else. So this site, our plan is used as a administrative facility moving forward.
Okay, again, you keep saying this site. You're saying your existing site.
Yes, sir. The existing site.
Existing site will be administrative offices, and your rental business will be relocated to the new site.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to clarify because one of the elected officials contacted our office earlier today and asked that question. Thank you.
Are you all done, Ashby?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any comments or questions?
To the chair, Commissioner Martin. I'd
Go
just
ahead.
like to know where the current site is that would remain.
It is a little further up Telegraph. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know the directional coordinate or the address on the top of my head. It is, I guess, if you're looking
looks
at.
Like it's next to the McDonald's. Excuse me. I'm just looking at an aerial photo here on the other. It's just north of McDonald's, just south of 10 Mile, opposite side of Telegraph Road.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably right at the top of that screen.
I think it's about a mile away.
Location.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I know what you're talking about. All right. Thank you.
No problem.
To the chair, Commissioner Culpepper.
Yes.
Mr. Dobie, thank you for wanting to stay in Southfield. I understand you are outgrowing the current building you in, and by taking this vacant lot and turning it into something that will look great on Telegraph, we appreciate you. Plus, you're going to add to the economy by hiring some new people. So it does meet the special land use requirements. And again, I think that site is perfect for what you want to do with your business and grow the business and help the city of Southfield. And again, thank you for staying in the city and wish you a lot of luck. I'm in favor of this special land use. Thank you, Chair.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
This is Commissioner Rob Willis.
Yes.
Probably not a special land use question even, but I'm looking at the retention pond. And my concern is sometimes in the middle of summer, when they dry up, they really start looking bad. I'm because this retention pond is going to be right there in view of Telegraph. I'm just wondering if there's any consideration of how we can make sure that's not going to be an unsightly, thing.
I believe we have to enter into a maintenance contract on the retention pond, if I'm not mistaken. It's also, Enterprise's brand. We do pride ourselves on how we look in the community, so we have all intentions of taking care of it. I believe one of the things we're putting in is a fountain and some benches that will go around it as well.
Yes, you are correct. There is a site maintenance agreement, and since we are dealing with a lot of retention ponds that have not been maintained properly, we are now providing a booklet on how to properly maintain the detention ponds as an educational tool for property owners. You're still required through the site maintenance agreement to maintain it. I think by having the fountain, then you're going to be holding water, and by aerating the water, that helps keep some of the stagnant material down. So it is a good point, and many of these detention ponds that were put in 40 years ago have silted up, and they're not functioning as they were originally designed and implemented. And with all the severe storms that we have, we cannot afford not to take stormwater seriously. So we will be providing that manual as part of our approvals moving forward.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the commission? Okay.
Yeah, then if I may, Mr. Chairman, then if the planning commission is satisfied with the project as presented this evening, and you don't see a reason for another study session on this, then if the planning commission is okay, we will move this to the September 22nd regular meeting.
I'm fine with that. Sounds
I'm
like
fine with it.
Yeah, this is Commissioner Willis. It's good by me.
Yep,
Mr.
I'm
Martin,
good with
good
that.
by me.
Stevens Gunn, good by me.
All right, that was easy. Thank you. Next item is PSLU 21-0008.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is a request of the petitioner and owner Abraham Southfield Commons. This is actually a shopping center that is north of 12 Mile Road on the west side of Southfield Road, and just north of the Jonah project that was constructed a number of years ago, which is the former St. Bede site. So this property is located at 29267 Southfield Road. As I noted, west side of Southfield, north of 12. The property is owned B1 neighborhood business. Actually has dual zonings on it. And the special use request is to allow for a tenant space to be used as a restaurant and a bar. This is a better look of the property in itself. The current restaurant on this property is the old Kenzie Japanese Steakhouse, which is kind of on the west side of the property, kind of at the dogleg area right in here. So there was a restaurant in this particular location previously, and it's our understanding that they also had a liquor license and had a bar. However, we could not locate any kind of a special land use approval for the bar. So in order to make things right and to allow a bar within this particular location along with the restaurant, we had to go through the special use process. As I noted, the property is currently zoned B1, which is neighborhood business, and does have a little bit of B2 planned business on it as well. Is within the the North Southfield sub area. This is the floor plan for the proposal. You can see the table seating as well as the location for the bar within the structure. It's my understanding in previous conversations that for the most part, the entire space within this tenant area has been completely demoed. So I believe that the petitioner, or at least Mr. Harvey, when I give him the opportunity here, can confirm whether or not that's true. They will also have outdoor seating. There's a patio already existing on the property. So again, we are looking at a special land use for the restaurant and the bar on the property. And with that, Mr. Nathan Harvey, as I had noted, is on this evening along with members of his team. So Mr. Harvey, if you can add anything additional, now is your opportunity to do that.
Thank you. That was a very good description, Jeff. There's really nothing I can add as far as our request and the uses involved, the zoning of the property. I did receive the planning department's comments, and I'm currently working to address those right now, and I'll have them done well before the September 22nd meeting. And yes, the space is completely demoed on the interior.
Okay, so then if I may through the chair, then we would be looking at, at least from an interior standpoint, this would all be brand new on the inside.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Are there exterior improvements planned?
Do you have the elevations, Jeff?
Or maybe that's not part of this conversation.
Yeah, I don't have
elevations. No, it could be. It could be. They're really planning to close some existing windows, add 2 new glass garage doors that open to those outdoor seating areas in the patio in the front, new exterior doors, a new canvas canopy at the main entrance. The existing evergreen shrubs will stay. Existing paving, brick paving at the outdoor seating area will stay. And the exterior finish proposed is going to stay primarily EIFS or drive it. And we're going to close up most of the windows and just cover it with EIFS so that it would look as if those windows were never there. And the current brick, we're going to cover with another type of stone tile.
Okay, Mr. Harvey. So yeah, so we're going to need all those details as soon as you can make them available to us. There is an elevation that was in the packet. I apologize, Planning Commission, it didn't make it into this presentation this evening. But Mr. Harvey, you are detailing a little more than what the current elevation shows. So it'll be important to make sure that all the details that you just discussed make it onto those plans.
That's fine.
Yeah, I just want to add, this is Planner Crode, that EIFS may be acceptable at a higher elevation, but we require durable building materials, stone, brick, or other 3 feet up or to the windowsills. So I think it's going to be important that we see the elevations to make sure that the windows don't look like they just got boarded up. I like at least the concept of these garage doors so you can have open air between the restaurant and the outdoor seating, but we need to see those details in advance of our public hearing.
They've been submitted. They just didn't make it to this meeting.
It just sounds like from Mr. Spence, the particular details were not part of the package that were submitted.
No, I did submit color.
We'll take a closer look at it. Thank you.
Okay.
Commissioners, any comments or questions?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Huntington through the chair.
Yes.
Okay. Is this a formal restaurant or a more casual restaurant that you have in mind? And also, what are the hours of operation?
I would say casual. I don't know the proposed hours, although with the liquor license, I know they would like to open until 2 a.m.
Okay. Now, would this ever be used, ever rented out for different events at all, or strictly just your private?
I couldn't speak to that. I think Javier Lee is here.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it would never be rented out. No, it's just more private.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Martin.
Go ahead, Commissioner Martin.
You mentioned that it wouldn't be rented out, but I thought it had a private dining room. Would that be rented?
No, it doesn't have. Currently, it's completely empty. There's nothing existing inside at all. There's I mean, we talked about doing a private dining room. It wouldn't be rented. No.
Okay, thank you.
This is Commissioner Rob Willis.
Yes, go.
Assuming favorable review, when do you think you could open up the doors? And secondly, do you have a name in mind?
We're still kicking ideas around as far as names. I've got a few ideas, and our objective would be looking to open early spring of 2022. But that's kind of all depending on how everything goes with, planning, prints, construction, materials. So that's kind of a roundabout time frame of that we'll be looking to open.
Okay. Thank you.
If I may, through the chair to Mr. Lee, Mr. Huntington had asked with regard to hours of operation. Do you have any ideas to what you're looking at?
Well, of course, we'd be looking to probably open mid-afternoon, we're thinking, or late afternoon, and, probably stay open to the 2 a.m. Time frame, at least certain days of the week, more or less weekends. We don't have anything set in stone as of yet, though.
If I just a word of caution, because of the special land use, generally we do add a condition of hours of operation. So if you can kind of give that some thought, and obviously, give yourself the best opportunity to be open as long as you would like. But we would need to at least have something a little more solid from you for the September 22nd meeting, because again, we are going to make a condition of hours of operation Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Any other comments? All right. Well, I'll say I looked at this space for a client before the pandemic. I'm sure they're very happy they did not proceed with their business plan. I think your business plan is a good fit for the space. Yeah, it was definitely gutted and full of potential when I was there. And it's going on 2 years. I think that's a good location. Assuming you can, the drive-by traffic isn't a major factor, for the business, but at the end of that site, it seems to be appropriate. Just looking at it, it's a little bit close to a few houses at the rear. So I'm not sure how much noise will be a concern, but that might be something you may want to address in your business plan, part of your presentation. Seems to be certain uses attract some noise complaints from the neighbors. It's just one of the things that seems to come up in other projects like this. But no, I think it's been vacant as long as I can remember. I don't remember that restaurant ever being open, to be honest, since I've lived here. So I'm excited to see some improvements to the space and increase the nightlife in Southfield. And I'm in favor of the project. Any other comments from the planning department?
There's none for me, sir, except that if planning commission is satisfied this evening, then we'll bring it back to you on September 22nd.
I just have one question. You have the restaurant portion of that building. Are you using any other portions of the building?
No.
Okay, thank you.
I can remember when the most expensive restaurant in Southfield was in this same space, but this had to be 35, 40 years ago.
In this space, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems to be kind of an end cap space. It's a completely enclosed building. It seems like the strip centers, it touches it, but it's separate construction, if I recall.
Yes. Well, it is the last unit in this whole building. Yes, but it's definitely a part of that building.
Right. Well, this space looks like it's maybe about 6,000 square feet, 65 times 90. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So I didn't hear any concerns other than the elevation questions. If that may have been addressed, we don't have the illustrations in front of us tonight.
Correct.
Yeah, and if I may, through the chair, all the brand new information will be provided to you prior to your September 22nd meeting.
Okay. Works for me. All right. On to the next item. We have PZRODD 21-0003.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is your last item on your agenda this evening. This is PZRODD 21-0003. So this is for an overlay development district. The property located at 26700 Central Park Boulevard. This is the current location of the Hawthorne Suites Hotel. It's on the southeast corner of 10 Mile Road. I'm sorry, southeast corner of I-696, which would be 11 Mile, and Central Park Boulevard. The proposal is to rezone the existing site to ODD, Overlay Development District, and to convert the existing extended stay hotel to a multiple family use. And the name of the project would be called the Elko. This is a little closer view of the property in itself. As I noted, it is already fully developed. It actually went through some renovations a couple of years ago on the existing buildings. And now we have a new petitioner again that would like to convert the existing hotel over to multiple family type use. This is a schematic of the site plan. Basically, the site stays close to the way that it is right now, although they have added some additional parks to the property itself, and also have proposing to make upgrades to the existing buildings, as well as to the clubhouse area and the existing pool. These are the proposed site changes. You can see on the left the existing community center building, and then the proposal for the new community center. This is the back of the community center building. Then again, on the right, the proposed revisions. And finally, the east side are the final side of the existing community building, and then again on the right, the revisions there. To the existing residential structures in themselves, again, the left is the existing, and then the proposal on the right. As I had noted, this is an overlay development district is being proposed. So there would be a master development plan along with an ODD agreement that would be part of this process. We've been through 2 of these already this year. So this would be the 3rd one, and actually the 2nd one in this particular area. If you recall, just recently within the last 2 months, we had an overlay development district go through the process and get approved by council or it will be going to council, I'm sorry, this month for Hassan Jawad's property on the corner of Evergreen Road and Civic Center Drive. So again, these particular uses are becoming more and more, at least these proposals are becoming more and more prevalent as property owners look to redevelop their existing sites. With that, we do have Mr. Brian Pritchard on the line along with his team. So Brian, if you or one of your associates would like to kind of walk us through this proposal, now is your opportunity to do that.
Sure. Thank you very much for the introduction and the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Brian Pritchard. I am the founder and CEO of TriCap Residential Group. We will be the sponsor of this project. We are a regional apartment owner and operator. We own a little over 3,000 apartments in predominantly in the Midwest and a little bit in the Southeast. Our business was started in 2007. And as I mentioned, we are an owner and operator of these communities, which means not only do we present them for redevelopment, but we execute the project and we operate the properties thereafter, meaning all of the employees that are on site are employees of our company. This project fits squarely within our main business, which is buying an older property that's in need of improvement. That improvement usually comes in the form of renovation, marketing, and rebranding, and professional management and operations. And we would bring all 3 to this particular site. We're seeing in the marketplace today that there is a decrease in demand for business focused or extended stay type hotels, and this property type happens to look and act quite similar to a number of apartment communities that we have and we see in the marketplace. And so we think that there's a good opportunity to reinvest into the property and take it from a hotel use to an apartment use. And you saw some of the elevations for what our project would look like after it's completed. You know, we would envision a mid to upscale type priced and targeted community, boutique in sort of its feel, and that it's it's a smaller unit count at 144 units, but it would still provide all of the amenities that you would see in a larger community: clubhouse, fitness, pool, outdoor activities, dog and pet areas, and then well landscaped and manicured ground. So we're very excited about the opportunity. This is one of several that we're currently pursuing. We're also pursuing one in Troy, not too far down the road. And so if you have any questions about the project or about our company, I'd be happy to address them.
You mentioned 144 units. I'm just curious, do you have to change the floor plans, or are the extended stays pretty well set up?
No, they actually lend themselves pretty well to, there'll be smaller apartments. but to direct conversion, in the existing floor plate. That's one of the things that we like about it, about this property type. So we will not be combining units.
Then what's the bedroom mix, I guess, along the same line?
Yeah, the counts, perhaps Rob, you have the exact counts, but they are, we'll call a junior one bedroom, which is just it's a one bedroom with a little bit smaller than you would see in a newly developed community. And then on the upper floors, they have a 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom plus loft, den, 2-bath units. Do you have the counts, Rob?
I do. It's 108 of the junior, and then 36 of the larger unit.
Thank you.
To the chair, Commissioner Culper. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Commissioner Heinz, go ahead first.
Okay, are any of these units handicapped accessible?
I can't give you the exact count, and we have not walked 100%. I have not personally walked 100% of them, but the ground floor units either are or would be easily converted to accessible units.
But you don't have any actually planned out at this point.
Wayne, do you have that? Do we know those counts by chance? Wayne, it represents our architecture firm.
Yeah, I did not have the actual counts, but we would meet the type A and type B units during our building code and permit submittal. So yes, we would plan to have all the required added if they're not there right now.
Okay. Okay. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks.
Commissioner Culpepper, go ahead.
Guys, let me say, hey, I've seen this proposal before. I think it's a great project, especially for that corner. Looking at what's there now, everybody can't afford condos. And there are people within this city that's downsizing, that wants a place to live that's affordable and decent. I think what you put together here will definitely set that corner on its ears. It looks great. The apartments looks great. The plan is laid out. You got multiple units, whether you got 1 bedroom or 2 bedrooms. I think that's a great project. And again, I am hoping very strongly that you go forward with it, because again, everybody can't afford a $365,000 condo. And there are people that want to rent a decent, livable place that looks good. And I think that area looks good. And the way you got it laid out, I think will be a great asset to Southfield. So I wish you the best of luck. I'm behind this rezone 100%, guys. Great presentation. I think it looks great. And
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
I know it'll look even better. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
This is Geraldine Stevens Gunn.
Yes, go ahead.
To the chair.
Yep, go ahead, please.
Okay, I've taken a look at it, and I'm listening to the size of the units. Have you all thought about or considered seniors, seniors for this complex, or because of the size? I think that the turnover and occupancy will be, a lot more transient with smaller sizes, because you're not going to be able to get real families, with children and those kinds of, unless you're planning to make your juniors a little bit bigger, but I think the seniors might be a good market for it, especially since you're right here near the city center, you're near grocery stores, you're right here on public transportation. So that's just something to think about. And this is not my area. I'm just looking at it in terms of the needs of our community, or at least I think the needs of our community. So the sizes of the units, the juniors units would be what, less than 1,000 square feet? That's a question.
That's correct. Yeah, yes, that's correct.
Okay, well, that's just something to think about. So as I look at your proposal, we got to do something with it right now, because its current use is a disruption to the community. So I think that making it residential is an improvement.
Thank you, and thank you for the comment regarding seniors. While we do not anticipate this being an age-restricted community, we do anticipate that this would be a pretty desirable, especially the ground floor units, a desirable product type for seniors in the area, and at a price point that I think is very fair and reasonable.
This is Commissioner Rob Willis.
Yes.
First of all, I drove the property and I think I saw one dumpster, and I saw one location where a dumpster should go. And this again, I'm looking, I might have overlooked it. I saw two dumpster locations with 140 plus residents. Are you looking at any more dumpster locations, or do you have what it takes at this point? And are there more than two dumpster sites?
Can you comment on that, Wayne, as to exactly how many sites there are currently? So that's one thing to look. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I do believe the only one is on the northeast, but I mean, that's a valid comment that we really haven't dug into. So I think there's area we can get creative and find something. Mm-hmm.
And I think that is the goal, because just the nature of the current facility is more transient and less individuals. We will have to provide more just to accommodate a greater mass of people at the site.
In addition, have you considered, locations for bike racks? I did not see any of those.
I don't think they're specifically noted on the plan, but we would certainly look to carve. It's very popular to have not only bike racks, but sort of bike repair and workshop space. And we think that we can accommodate that in the community building.
Okay, I'm good. Thank you.
The Chair, Commissioner Martin.
Yes.
You're looking at these as more as permanent residents, correct?
Not transient like hotel or weekly rentals. We look at these as more traditional apartments, which to us is plus or minus 12-month leases.
Okay. Then individually, what are you looking at for trash collection and that type of stuff for the individual units? Most of them have parking areas in front of them or behind them, and where are the trash receptacles to be for the residents to get rid of their trash on a weekly basis? What are you considering for the removal of trash for the residents? Those type of things need to be considered, and with the layout of the property right now, it looks like we're going to require some changes.
Yeah, specifically with regard to the location of the trash, as I think I previously mentioned, there's one specified location today. We may, as we start to operate the problem, need to identify another. I would anticipate that, and this is typically handled by our operations team, that this will have a private trash collecting service. And for a community of this size, that's a twice a week probably pickup. And most of our residential garden style communities such as this have exactly that type of arrangement where we have one or more trash receptacle locations. I am personally very particular with how they are fenced and presented on the site, because I think it makes a big difference to people, guests and residents alike. And then the residents would take their trash out to those different locations.
And the residents, I assume that the 1-bedroom units are the single floor, and the 2-bedroom units are the loft type facilities that they have.
That is correct.
That is, would that be a first floor and the second floor bedroom, or just the open first floor and then 2 bedrooms on the second floor? Or is there a mixture?
Yeah, it's one on the ground floor, and then the upper floor is a loft. We actually think that it's could be a very desirable work from home type scenario. So upstairs den and downstairs bedroom. Work from home is obviously much more prevalent and popular today than it was only a few years ago. So one of those two scenarios.
I do believe there are toilet rooms on all the upper lofted areas too, so it lends itself to a nice bedroom and bathroom and closet.
Well, just as a point of information, I think it would be a nice change for the area because that location has gone through several modifications and some unsightly use has gone there, and it needs to be truly eliminated, and pretty much it has been. And unfortunately, while you say it's not a good location for a hotel, during the storms that we've had, that location has been packed. You couldn't get in. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other comments from the commission? And before I forget, Wayne, it's good to see you. It's been a lot of years. You have a good architect, well educated.
Yes.
Jeff.
That's not
Jeff.
going to help him, Chair.
Jeff, you say we have some public comments on the line right now?
It's possible that we do. We have 3 callers on our attendee list, and it's very possible that they could have some comments with regard to this project. I will, just to the petitioner and to the Planning Commission, I did receive a call earlier today from the president of the Homeowners Association for the Evergreen Meadows condos. And there's definitely a lot of interest in what the proposal is for this particular use. One of the things that was noted to me was that there have been a lot of issues and problems with this particular complex over the years that has caused a little bit of heartburn to the residents of Evergreen Meadows. So they are, at least at this moment, not real fond of this proposal. And again, because the proposal is apartments, I did ask them to listen to the presentation tonight. So again, Brian, if there's a way that at least at this moment, before I see if any of these callers want to speak, because of the history of this particular project, is there anything that you can say to the residents that might be listening, how kind of a change in culture might happen under your ownership?
Yeah, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak about that, and to the extent that the callers are not specific to this proposal, we'll make sure that we immediately reach out to the Condominium Association and personally address our team well any concerns that they have. So we think that we are the solution to some of the problems that they've experienced in the site, and our experience has been not only at this properties but others that we have seen is this particular Hawthorne Suites or this vintage sort of extended stay has gone from being sort of preeminent in top of market to middle market, and now maybe on the lower end of the extended stay hotel spectrum. And our experience has been in that instance that it's attracting weekly renters or weekend party renters, or people that may not otherwise want or can't or qualify for long-term and a little bit more expensive apartment living. And so our plan would be to come in immediately, cease that operations. There'll be no hotel operations during our ownership. We would renovate the property. We're investing in total upwards of $15 million into this particular asset, and then we would operate it as a professionally managed mid to upper scale apartment community. Again, with standard 12 plus or minus month leases, background checks, income verification, resident verification, all of the things that you would expect from a professional apartment manager.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate you mentioning that, Brian. So again, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I'll go ahead and unmute those who are currently on the line, and if they have some comments on this particular project, We do ask that you give your name and address for the record, just so we have that. So with that, do we have anyone who would like to make comments on this particular project?
Yes, sir. I can do that.
Okay, go ahead. If you can give me your name and address for the record.
My name is Akram Namel. I am a businessman in the city of Southfield. I own other hotels in the city of Southfield. This property is a problematic property as it has a lot of security issues, some problems at weekends. It's really impacting the area. That's number one. Number two, City of Southfield has plenty of hotels where the occupancy has been plummeted, and certainly our occupancies in other hotels would rise a little bit if this conversion to the permanent apartments go through. So that will help other hotels in the area. Number three, the most important one is really the security. I mean, with the apartments, they verify income, they verify credit, background checks, etc. Where in a hotel, and this is operated as a hotel, there's no such verification. So you would attract more permanent, more clean, less headache, and less problematic people there, where this company has a great reputation. The one is buying this project. They have multiple projects and multiple apartments. They have been very successful for many years. So really, it will be the greatest conversion to apartments in this corner. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate your comments this evening. Do we have anyone else who would like to make a comment with regard to this proposal?
Yes, hi. My name is Patrick Butler. I am general counsel for the current property owner, which is Extended Stay of Southfield, LLC. And I would just like to follow up with Mr. Namu's comments that, we've been dealing with TRICAP. They're a very professional organization, and we feel that they're going to do a very excellent job of taking over this property and converting it to the residential, and that would be a very positive development for the city of Southfield.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate your comments. Anyone else have a comment this evening on this proposal?
Yeah, this is Ferris Bakos. I'm the general manager of the Hawthorne Suite Southfield. My comment is regarding the handicap room. Yes, we do now handicap, and there are 6 total with rolling shower.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, those were the only ones that we had online.
Okay. I guess I'll just make a few comments, just echoing this. It makes complete sense to me to convert this to more of an extended stay, more of a true yearly residential type of an apartment. It's there's several large new developments proposed right in this area. I'm always asking for increased density in the city center, especially from a residential point of view. I think that's going to serve the retail, the restaurants that are planned. It's a short walk, bike ride. You're right there. It sounds like you're in a good unit size. I know there's some large lofts existing. There's some micro units down as small as 400 square feet that are proposed that sound really interesting. We've got single family homes, 2,000 square feet, very near here. It's a nice mix of residential options for the area. So I've always looked at this project and been intrigued, or looked at that existing development and been intrigued, wondered what really happened there. But It does look a little rough right now, and making all these improvements just makes complete sense for the area, for everybody really involved. So I think it's a really nice project. I'm definitely in favor of it. I think you're coming in at a good time with some very large projects very close to you that hopefully you'll all just kind of sync things up and feed off of each other's developments, and the whole area keeps getting better and better. So I think it's a really good project.
If I may, through the chair to Brian, so one of the questions that came from the homeowners association president earlier was with regard to a playground for children. So I'm not sure at the level that we're looking at right here if there's a proposal for some kind of play equipment, or do you not think that you're going to have many families with kids on this particular project?
Yeah, we don't anticipate a lot of families here. Perhaps not any families here. And really that's for no other reason than just kind of unit size of the existing units. And we do not have a on-site playground programmed at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Any last comments from the commission?
To the chair?
Yes.
Brian, I think Jeff hit on it. I think it's very important that you do reach out to the condos around and talk to the people, take their input, listen to them, because they are a driving force. And Jeff hit on it. They may not be at this meeting, but trust me, if there is a pushback against this project, they will show up for the city council meeting. But it's important that you touch base with them, let them know what you plan on doing, listen to their concerns and address them. And you come in highly recommended. And again, like I said, that project will definitely make that corner 120% better. So I wish you a lot of luck. But again, you should do everything you can to get the buy-in from the residents and make sure that you're connected with them. And that will go a long way. Thank you, Chair.
Absolutely. And we will do so. Thank you.
Here again, just to reiterate what Mr. Culpepper just said, the biggest problem has been the weekend partying and other activities going on there. And it's definitely a plus to let the residents in the area know that these are leased apartments, not overnight or long weekends, so that they are aware that what used to go on is not going to go on again. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Chairman, if there's no other questions or comments, and the Planning Commission is satisfied with the presentation this evening, then we'll bring this back to you on September 22nd.
I'm good, Chair.
All right.
I'm good, Commissioner Huntington.
I think we're good.
Stevens Gunn is good.
All right. Thank you.
It's good.
Thank you.
See you in a couple weeks. And if you can get some
thank you
interaction with the next door neighbors before then, that'll be very beneficial for you, I'm sure. All right. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if I may, through the chair, Brian, I will touch base with the homeowners association president and see if it's okay that I provide you with her telephone number or vice versa. So at least you can make a connection that way. I can do that tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll either be myself or Luke Bonner, who's on part of our team as well, that will lead that effort for us. So we'll make sure we coordinate with you.
Great. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome and good luck.
Thank you.
Next, we have the public comment portion of the meeting.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So for those who are online, have been listening or watching via cable, this is your opportunity for public comment. You would have 3 minutes in order to state your comments. We ask that you do provide us with your name and your address for the record, and then you can then proceed with your comments. Mr. Chairman, and to those who are listening and watching, there's a little bit of a delay between the live planning commission meeting and what's being shown on TV. So we will keep the line open for about a minute or so and give you the opportunity right now to call in. So Mr. Chairman, if I'll step away for a moment and watch the phone lines, and I'll be back with you in a minute or so.
Thanks, Jeff.
And just again, for those online, the information to call in is at the bottom of the screen. Call 1-415-655-0001, and then you will be asked to enter an event number or code. That is 179-114-9447. Again, 179-114-9447, followed by 2 pound keys. Hey, Mr. Chairman, it does appear that we might have a couple of people online who would like to speak. So I will open up one of the lines here first.
Okay.
So to the caller, please provide your name and address for the record, and then you can go ahead and make your comment.
Hello.
Yep. Hello.
My name is Elizabeth Marks Wilson, or Tina Marks Wilson. I'm president of the HOA at Evergreen Meadows Condos in Southfield. I was trying to call in.
It does appear that we might have a couple of people online who would like to speak. So
You just
I will
have to mute your TV or computer because it's a delay.
Okay. I'm sorry. I would have called in while you had the person speaking on behalf of Hawthorne Suites, but I missed all of the number. You only put it up at the beginning and then it didn't show up anymore. However, I would like to be in touch with someone who's in charge of that project so that they can meet with our board of directors. And also because there are other issues other than just the weekend noise and all the other issues we've had with them. There are others we would like to address because it's right in our backyard. And right now they have residents who are throwing trash across the fence. If their children there, they climb the fence, and it's a very short wooden fence, which they have not, they reconstructed it a couple of years ago. Slats have now broken out of it again. And again, we're surrounded on 2 sides by, well, actually 3 sides by that hotel, and will be by whatever apartment building you plan to put there. So yes, we would like to have some input on this. It's one thing for someone to say that's a great place to put something, but you shouldn't have allowed this condo complex to be put here with all of these other businesses and everything right around it. But since you've done that, you have senior citizens predominantly in this condo complex. So I think that we should be heard.
Yeah, if I may, through the chair, we appreciate you calling us in. With your permission, ma'am, I do have your phone number from our conversation earlier. Would it be okay if I shared your phone number with Brian so that then
You certainly may. You
Okay,
certainly may.
I appreciate that. I will be following up with Brian. He is the one who did most of the comments this evening. So I will provide your phone number to him tomorrow. And I would expect, as he had noted, that he will give you a call and try and set something up.
Thank you very much. I'd appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Jeff, Brian, Pritchard, I'm still here. Tina, nice to meet you. I look forward to speaking with you tomorrow.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay, do we have anyone else who would like to make a comment this evening? Last call. Anyone else who would like to make a comment during the public comment portion? Okay, Mr. Chairman, it appears that is it for public comment this evening.
Okay, we'll close the public comment section at this time. And there's definitely a disconnect when we have these video calls, but it seems like there's always a misunderstanding, and this isn't new proposed buildings. It's a change of use of the existing buildings and new operators and things like that. So I don't know. I think we made it pretty clear of what the project was, but maybe we can address that a little further at the regular meeting of things that we can request them to change and things that are just existing, already approved items. All right. We have meeting minutes. Any meeting minutes tonight?
I will be the meetings for August 18th study meeting, August 25th regular meeting will be sent to you on the Friday before your regular meeting on the 22nd. So you should look to expect those on the 17th.
Okay. Do we have any miscellaneous items?
Except for next Wednesday's meeting for further discussion on the funds. Again, that is a meeting that would start at 3 p.m. That's the only thing that I have this evening. Not sure if City Planner Crode has more.
Yeah, just I encourage you to flip through the booklet that was sent out late this afternoon. And if you have any questions to follow up with Jeff, I'll be on vacation next week. I am proud to report that last Friday we had our ribbon cutting ceremony at Lawrence Tech University Pathway. And it was a lot of fun to have the marching band lead a procession a half a mile from Civic Center down to the stadium. And I also attended their home opener football game Saturday night, where they had close to 3,000 people in attendance. So it was great to see students back on campus. That's all I have, and have a nice Labor Day weekend, everybody.
You.
I was a little late to respond, but I am not available at 3 p.m. on Wednesday next week.
Okay, thank you. Then your vice chairman then would have to or lead the meeting then.
This is Commissioner Rob Willis. I have the room for it, so I look forward to it.
Great, thank you.
All right. Well, have a good holiday, everybody.
Yeah.
The meeting is adjourned. Talk to you later.